We've got crabs. Okay, this is a bit of a special one. It's the start of a big new project we're doing because we watched the first 3 episodes of sitcom Off Center for this week's episode of...
Well, we'll just tell your mother that we ate it all.
So you said we can do a podcast.
Yeah, we can.
No, we can't.
I'm doing a spot for the first time tomorrow. You got any advice for me?
Are you on a Sneaky Possum?
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, my advice as a post-COVID comedy veteran, I'd say, just make sure you remember your jokes before you go on stage.
Yeah.
Honestly, I felt so distracted when I did it, and I just couldn't go over my thing, but it's just like riding a bike.
Yeah, for me, it was I don't remember how these jokes go. The talking into a microphone and performing thing was fine. But yeah, just the actual material side of it.
Standing there with the mic in my hand, I felt like sitting on a couch. It was great.
I found crowd work and riffy stuff came back right away.
Yeah,
I expected that to come back straight away.
Yeah,
just because
that never went. I don't think.
Because also
it's kind of like you just went on a long holiday.
Well, also before I was thinking. I would have lived where I used to live, and I would have just walked up, had a few beers, felt a bit loosened up, and then just gone for it. Now I'm driving.
Yeah.
So I won't get to experience that, but I will be more present in the moment, and we'll see if that leads to me being more frenzied.
Do you know what it felt like for me is, when you're a kid and you do the big 6 weeks holidays over Christmas.
Yeah.
And then the first few days you're back at school, it's a bit how do I do this again? Getting up in the morning's weird.
Oh, it was the worst.
Yeah. It's like that, but you have to do it 5 minutes at a time. It was rather than a whole day.
But it's also good, you know?
Yeah.
You're not oh fuck, I've got to do comedy.
Yeah, it's a positive version of that, but just in the way everything felt a bit how do I do... how do I get my rhythm back?
How do I talk to this person that I don't want to talk to?
It's I get to see my friends portion of going back to school.
Yeah, that part's cool.
Yeah, that's a good bit.
It has been good seeing all the comics back at gigs. Well, not all the comics.
It was like that thing at the start of The Wire where he's I love the first day, everybody all friendly and shit.
Yeah, that's right. I'll be able
Absolutely.
to have conversations with anyone. Be what have you been up to? And
Oh,
they're
dude,
same old. And I'm yeah, me too. And then we'll just stand in the hallway silently.
We just missed out on an opportunity. My mum was just calling me.
Oh, man. I would love that.
Damn.
Any chance to get some transphobia on the pod?
I mean, I can call her back.
From not us as well?
Yeah, from not to get some phoned in transphobia. Oof, tasty.
I kind of, because we're doing something different conceptually for at least the next 9 episodes, did you say, Rose?
I think it works out that way.
I think I want to get into this straight away.
I like that we have hypotheses on division.
Yeah.
We could just think.
I also, up top, wanted to thank anybody who stuck in after you received a pleasant surprise on last episode.
Oh, man. I've been listening to my playlist on Spotify. I almost wanted to dedicate the first chunk of the episode to this, but I think I need a little bit of substitution in and out because I've realized there are long segments where it's very mark heavy.
Yeah.
And I would like some
more... You
more...
want to break that up?
I'd like it to be more even.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of switching out things like Waggy and subbing in Enthuse and stuff, maybe moving some stuff later. Because the first 3 tracks of my playlist, they fucking wreck, but they're all mark.
As soon as I walked away from recording, I didn't think about that list again, except for in my dreams where I've lived it every night. I'm just in the skate park in Tony Hawk's. In the school in Tony Hawk's 2. Yeah, absolutely.
Has that been released yet? The re-release thing?
As of real life right now? No.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's even better news. Fucking Skate 4, baby.
Yeah, I saw that. Right in time to compete.
What's that?
Skate is the game that got released for PS3 that was took over Tony Hawk basically because it was a lot better.
Around the time Tony Hawk started to get bad, I think.
Yeah. And
Did they have any notable skaters?
Yeah, but they would have been notable for that time and place, and we wouldn't have known.
Right. To be fair, all the notable skaters I know are
from
people from Tony Hawk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been holy... when the first one came out, I wouldn't have been holy fuck, you mean Bob Burnquist is in this shit? Bucky Lasek himself? But now they're kind of household names to me.
Do you remember they used to occasionally do skating pay-per-views?
Yeah.
Wrestling or whatever?
Yeah.
My friend got
you
that
can
one.
get pretty much anything on pay-per-view. Extreme sports, pro wrestling,
Yeah.
boxing, pornography, MMA.
I remember a friend of mine
other kinds of pornography.
This one where Bob Burnquist had made the loop thing or whatever, but had cut the top out of it.
like a Sonic loop, but with a top
that's
cutout.
sick.
Yeah, and he had to just upside
Like
down,
ollie
jump
at the
the
top.
gap.
Damn.
How does that work in terms of like physics?
I would assume
Because
you'd just
downward pressure, if you exerted any downward pressure to clear that gap,
I think
you'd
you'd
fall
be going-
directly downwards.
You'd be going fast enough that the momentum.
yeah,
would
so
take
you would
I
have to
think.
not jump. You'd have to like not put any downward pressure.
You
Yeah,
just have to.
that's-
You just have to float across.
Yeah,
Like,
you'd probably just have to lower your legs a little bit so you
Yeah.
don't push up and then like clip.
It's
the-
probably
Yeah.
like more just doing like a grab trick. than a
yeah.
roll.
You're
Yeah.
just in the air moving. Man, we all should have learned to skate.
There's
I
st-
mean, I'm sure we all tried.
That's true.
well, we all got Tony Hawk instead and like bluffed our way through skating with that.
Yeah,
I was just
only
chasing puss,
I only-
dude.
I was a puss. That's why I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I think I dropped in at the skate park like once.
Yeah.
It was so scary, even on the small one.
I'm bouldering again.
I spent
Speaking
a lot
of
of time
scary.
like bailing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just speaking of doing scary extreme sports. I'm climbing again. I'm bouldering, dude.
This is extreme.
Yeah. I actually did on my first day back, I did did a reach and failed and fell, like fully from the top fell, like no slip, no stumble. I fell off and landed like completely flat on my back and stuff. And I did get like all the experienced climbers around me do like the awkward like look at me, and I do the I'm okay, I'm cool. And it was a very embarrassing moment for me.
Really?
And they all do that. Ugh.
No, they were all I think pretty concerned I'd hurt myself.
Yeah. How
They're
like
like fucking ankle shoes is at it again.
how like smushy is the floor?
Pretty smushy.
Yeah, so I assume it didn't really hurt.
No, not really. It
Didn't
hurts
you, you
sometimes.
got up and you were like, don't fucking hurt.
It hurts if you land.
If anything, I feel better.
So you're supposed to land in a way where you.
Did on purpose.
So you're supposed to jump off on purpose.
Yeah, land on your back,
Land
right?
on you land on your feet and roll immediately to your back. And so like. When it hurts is sometimes you get a bit bold and you jump and you don't roll back, and you do that from a little too high up and you get a bit worried for your ankles. That's like as sore as it gets. If you land flat, you're pretty much fine as long as you don't land weird.
Yeah, right.
People break shit all the time though.
What, you mean like bones?
Yeah, just by like fucking shit up. By like fucking up the fall and like slipping.
Yeah, well,
and-
that makes sense to
yeah.
me.
It's an extreme sport, like I said.
It just seems so nerdy. It seems too nerdy to be extreme.
It is nerdy.
It's because it's kind of like math.
It's like a video game.
Yeah.
Is how I always describe it.
Yeah, even down to like the colored rocks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like wall Tetris.
If they could do a thing, oh fuck yeah, Rose. If you didn't catch that, Rose farted.
I feel like that might have been picked
Yeah,
up.
man.
If I could get it so that when I hit,
Oh god, it's
when
terrible.
I send a proj, when I get the both hands on like the final hold, I would love like to have the Mario end of level music play. I would boulder every day
And
if
slide
that
down
happened.
the flagpole.
Man, I would boulder every day. I'd quit my job to boulder
That
full
would be-
time.
if you got like just insanely rich where like money was no concern or whatever,
you'd have
and
your
you
own
assumedly like
Yeah.
built a gigantic house,
Yeah.
would you do the fireman's pole just for the heck of it?
I'd do a fireman's pole to get down from my bouldering wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. I fucking would. And, maybe I just waited out a few years. Maybe this could all come true.
Exactly.
Yeah, when we
Exactly.
start getting those Patreon dollars coming
Yeah,
in.
absolutely, dude.
Yeah, so I want to get into this because
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued by this.
Okay,
because
well, let
I want to
me-
know. I want to know a few things.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, welcome to We'll Just Tell Your Mother We Ate It All, a podcast about teen sex comedies and things thereabouts and things very much not thereabouts. We're kind of thereabouts here because this, as Jamie said before, is the start of what I believe is a 9-episode arc in which we're
We all
going to
learn.
3 at a time.
27 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
3 episodes at a time.
Stop
We're going to
this.
cover the old WB sitcom Off Center. It aired between October 2001 and October 2002.
Please tell the listener why we're doing off center.
As
They're going to be
crea-
very confused right now.
I'm still reading.
All right.
Created by Chris Weitz, Paul Weitz, and Danny Zucker, the series was heavily promoted as, quotes, from the guys who brought you American Pie.
Yes.
Because, what, they wrote? Are they American Pie
Chris
writers
and
or
Paul
some shit?
Whites are the writers of it.
Right.
And there's a couple of
Obviously,
actors,
it
obviously.
stars Eddie K. Thomas and
John
John
Cho.
Cho. And throughout the series has cameos from, I believe, Jason Biggs, Shannon Elizabeth, Eugene Levy, and maybe one or two more.
What?
Yeah.
Like lower cases.
What year
Jason
did this come
Biggs
out?
he was, what did he play? A man with two first names,
Yeah, I
Rick
think
Steve.
so. What year was this? Was it 2000?
2001 to 2002.
2001 to
You
so-
have two first names. Rose Piper.
Piper's probably more of a surname than a first name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it can be a first name.
Yeah, but you know,
So
it's
do
not
I.
Rick. It's not Rick Steve.
Kirk's different to Piper.
There's a character in Friday Night Lights with the first name Hastings.
first name Hastings.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Hastings Rockall.
Man, people have been pitching that to me for years, and I've always said it's not possible.
It is, dude.
It basically,
Dream, believe, achieve.
it basically is your first name.
Yeah, it's like I've thought like
I thought it was called Hastings.
like if I had a kid, I could make their first name Hastings and give them a different last
Yeah.
name. I'm not gonna have a kid. But
No.
but
Yeah, you could.
like enough of a narcissist, you'd probably just call them Hastings Andrew.
Ooh, I like just Hastings for the kid. Yeah, that
Oh,
kid's
like a mononym.
that kid's gonna be the most decked out dude in Hot Topic, man. He's gonna be crushing it.
Got a Jack Skellington patches all over that denim. hoodie.
Absolutely.
Dad, I don't want to be an emo. I'm happy.
Now shut up and listen to the used.
Yeah. My Chemical Romance suck. Don't you say that.
Not in this house.
I want to listen to Taylor Swift.
And Taylor does slap.
Yeah, I don't really know what a good option to say then. Like, what's
Good
the
Charlotte.
yeah, or just what's the opposite of My Chemical
Tame
Romance?
Impala.
Okay, yeah, that would be your thing.
Well, I would maybe go like full metal because metal.
Oh, yeah,
metal
yeah, yeah.
people are fucking
Classically clashes.
Well,
with-
classic like metal people are
Hate
maybe
emos.
the most elitist prick, like
Absolutely.
smug pricks.
like
as well.
neoclassical metal.
Yeah,
that sort
like
of shit.
people
Or just
who
any
listen to- yeah.
anything like any kind of like metal other than emo metalcore
Yeah.
shit. Like
Metalheads are.
metalheads are nerds, dude.
Yeah, they're just nerds who are very opinionated.
Yeah.
everything sucks.
they're
Could you
also-
imagine having a kid and that kid being like
They're
first to last?
they're also real sticklers about like what genre of metal it is.
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot of metal
so
genres.
many.
Yeah.
Like, I remember like talking to my friend Paul about it, who like he's just like a big music nerd on the internet, and he loves metal and stuff. But
So he's a
it was
metalhead.
just like
yeah.
he gave us like a kind of rundown of like a song we were listening to and like who would call it what or whatever, and you could just see him be like, I fucking hate that I know this. Actually,
Well,
like
he
this
should.
wouldn't be black metal, it'd actually be more like death doom.
I'm not a stickler for that, but I do get frustrated when people talk about like emo as if it's like a music genre. Like it's not really.
Well, screamo was like
Screamo
a genre
is
of emo.
Absolutely. Well, it's like
Wasn't that like third wave emo or something like that?
yeah, third wave emo is like what
Because
most people
first
call
wave
emo.
emo was emotional hardcore.
But, yeah.
So like it is a genre.
No. Yeah, sure. But I mean, like when people talk, Panic at the Disco is not the same genre as From First to Last. That's insane.
Or
No, it's just because they're
Rites
in the
of
same
Spring.
era.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, Panic at the Disco isn't like Jimmy Eat World, who would also be.
Yeah, exactly. There's a but it's like because you got like pop punk emos, you got post hardcore
Yeah.
emos, you got screamo, which is very similar.
But I
to
think
post-hardcore,
like
but
when
kind
that,
of-
I think when that took hold, like everyone in the scene knew the Panic was an emo. They were like, yeah, it's pop punk, but
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it was all popular and everyone was wearing the same eye
It's the
makeup,
same hair.
it
Well,
all got lumped in the same
the
thing.
best comparison is like goth isn't a genre of music.
I was talking to Alice
Like
Fraser
it's,
about
some
this.
people
once.
like
It's
some like industrial, some like fucking Nick Cave. Like but it's still all gothy shit. Like,
I was talking to like Alice Fraser about this ages ago. It was like that's why comedy is so hard to review because like it's just comedy, but like there's different types of stand up. Like
Post-comedy.
Yeah.
if it got like kind of genreified a bit.
yeah,
Like,
there's comedy and there's post comedy.
because
Well,
like
there's-
because like what you do
The net
is,
and everything else.
yeah, you know what you do is not what like Sam Campbell does.
No, of course
you know,
not.
like,
It would be insane to
but
compare
you just
them.
both get called
Which
stand
is
up.
weird
but,
because
like,
it gets like it does have like two catch-all genres which like suck. It's like stand up and old comedy. And
Yeah.
it's like
All
so
comedy
that's
is
wrong.
meaningless.
Getcha, I guess,
It's
as
a
well.
meaningless
Yeah.
fucking phrase.
Yeah, because like when that took off, like people were like, yeah, Patton Oswalt, Paul Tompkins, they're like
Does it just mean
old.
they're
And you're like-
nice? Does that what it
just
mean-
Like, no, yeah, they just played alternatives to clubs.
Yeah, but it, like
Yeah.
it's like modern crowds. Is that what it's just a more modern like? What
wasn't
the
it
fuck
kind
does
of
it mean? Definitely doesn't mean
originators of like
anything here.
alt comedy more like in like 80s England, like late 70s, early 80s? It was like Rick Mayall and Aid Edmondson and all
Yeah,
that shit.
Stuart Lee talks about a lot about how he talks about like early '90s British alt comedy, and I think that's because like
It was people who watched the young ones. And
yeah,
stuff
but
that.
like I think it's not. It's that's I think again that was just talking about like what rooms they'd do, like and how they'd make their money and like their
But I feel like they all
methodology. The
used to
actual-
do. I feel like they all came up doing the Comedy Store and stuff like that.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
I don't know, but I can't really define a
Anyway, we've
distinguishing.
done the thing that we always do, where we introed the
Yeah,
pod and,
and
then
then had
started
a
talking about something else.
very boring conversation about stand up.
So this comes out 2001, 2002.
Yes.
Which puts
Okay.
it around American Pie 2 time.
Yeah.
So it's the height of the franchise's success, probably.
What's happening?
Yeah, it's
sitcom-
probably come out what like a few months after or some shit.
Yeah, and so like either it's
God, I didn't even think about that.
either it's coming out just before American Pie 2 gets released to theaters, or just afterwards
Yeah.
to capitalize.
They're
on
riding that wave either
it
way.
features like so my big question and what I want to investigate over the course of 27 episodes, how and
Who
why
murdered Adnan Syed? Wait, no, he was the guy who
No,
got
he
arrested.
did it.
Yeah.
how and why did this show fail? Like,
Okay.
it seems like everything was working for it.
Mm-hmm.
In a culture where
Yes.
American Pie as a franchise is like a sleeper hit, but it's taking off, especially among DVD.
Heavy hitter for a sitcom, you'd think.
And like DVD is taking off, and because like it's accessible, like kids that were my age, like around year 9, were passing it around a lot. Like it's got those two people in it. It's got the people behind it. Big promotional push on a network for young people, the WB, because it had like Buffy and Gilmore Girls on it.
Is that
it
where
also,
Buffy was?
Yeah. It was also like a network that was behind like NBC, CBS, ABC. So they were giving spots to like little shows, and they weren't so much like this has to be a monster hit, and like they would let things grow. Like
They're trying things out.
yeah, like a dumb show about like slaying vampires was like one of their biggest hits, like
Yeah.
eventually. And like but this lasted 2 seasons.
No,
but
it
got
didn't.
but it got cancelled midway through the second.
Probably not even midway.
It
I think it
got
got cancelled 7 episodes
yeah,
in.
and there were 3 episodes unproduced.
I thought it was 2. Oh, whatever. Yeah, there were things that were. We should get our hands on those scripts for the
I
unreleased
think they're on the
episodes.
internet.
For historical context, what was happening sitcom-wise at that time?
Sitcom wise, we would have been looking at Friends being still probably the most popular sitcom.
Tail end of Friends, though, right?
Yeah, but it's still like,
Early days of Scrubs.
Yep.
Were
But I
those
think-
two shows on at the same time? History is so confusing.
I think.
But the thing was,
it would have been around then that Scrubs started.
but the thing with Scrubs is Scrubs was never a hit. Like Scrubs was critically acclaimed.
yeah, true.
Like it was always like in
What
danger
network
of
was Scrubs on?
NBC.
It was also single cam, so it's
it was
different
also
expectations.
ABC by the end.
Yeah.
But
But it was
it's-
always in danger of being cancelled.
I think it had different
Yeah.
expectations, though, because it was like a single cam
Yeah.
thing. It was a bit more dramatic. It was a bit more.
Friends is probably
Scrubs sucks on the rewatch. I fucking hate it.
Friends is probably king of this moldy cam sitcoms.
What else would have been out of it? There would have been stuff like King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So 03, Family Guy, South Park, Simpsons, King of the Hill are all firing.
Family Guy has probably been cancelled and
By
is
03?
waiting to be.
Yeah.
I thought it was cancelled later, or was that the second time?
No. Well,
I reckon it started like kind of like early, either late primary school or early high school for me, and it got cancelled for a bit and then brought back.
Yeah, it got.
So was Family Guy early 90s? Like,
No,
sorry,
Family
late
Guy
90s,
was
I mean.
late
Late
ni-
90s, I mean.
maybe
yeah.
2000. So let's have a look at the biggest sitcoms of that era. So I mean, Curb would have started
Really? By
That
then?
early?
in
Fuck,
two-
how time works is so...
in 2000.
Whoa, man.
I saw too much weight.
Oh, good. You're admitting it now.
Third Rock would have been going.
Still.
Yep, according to this. So we've got. Let's have a look.
The Office would have happened by
The
now
Office-
as well.
Oh, yeah, that probably would
The
have started.
British Office was 2001.
Yeah, no,
Alright.
no, that's what I'm talking about.
So
Oh, did you mean the American one?
Philistine.
Do you like that one, do you?
do you like the babies show for babies? I prefer my comedy a bit more mature with Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant, creator of.
I'm sure
I don't know,
it's
Derek. who
I
does
started
that.
watching like The American Office for the first time recently.
It is good.
And like it is good, but I feel like I just like was starting to get less interested after like Jim and Pam got together. I was like,
Oh
that's
no,
kind of the most-
I like it better once they're together.
That's
Maybe I need to stick with it, but-
that's not the.
I
That's
know.
a hot take though.
I know. I've seen it through a few times. I like it when they're
I just
together.
felt
I
like
think
that was the most interesting thing happening, and I'm like, well, now it's kind of.
I will
solved.
say, looking at this list, basically every comedy that you think is good from the 2000s, like your Arrested Development,
Was around that
30
time.
Rocks, was after Off Center.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Cool. So late
So
days
what
of Friends.
happened then is this show went on, and they went, we need to try harder. We need to hire some better writers.
Back on Jim and Pam for a sec, though. I'm always interested in, just because we're doing sitcoms now. This is a sitcom show. We did it, guys.
We finally managed to transition
We did
into
it.
what we would have
we
actually
made it
been better
happen.
at.
yeah. I always prefer it in sitcoms. Fuck, we should have just done a sitcom show. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I mean, at this point, we can do what we want.
That's a great point. We can do
are.
whatever we
We have
want.
to do 9 episodes about this sitcom that no one watched.
Yeah.
I hope you're looking forward to it,
guest
everyone.
we get on is going to want to endure 3 episodes of.
I disagree. I think a lot of people will be quite amused to check
I didn't know this
out.
show was even. I didn't know this show existed.
Jamie is the only person besides my sister who I've ever known watched it.
Well, that's the thing. Let's try and stick to off center.
All right.
Because by the time I had seen it, it was on the Comedy Channel in Australia. It had already been canned.
Yeah.
So it was like
Because the Comedy Channel got
They
a
were
lot
buying
of
up a lot of shit.
they got
right?
they got a lot of stuff like that. They're just
Yeah.
like, let's just get
So
this.
I think-
because it's easy to get the rights
So I
to
think
it.
I'm watching
Yeah,
it
exactly.
like maybe 2002, 2003, being like, oh shit, this has got all the American Pie people in. Of course,
All of them.
Like, of course, when you're like that age, I loved it, man.
Oh, I thought it
Yeah.
was so
My-
good back
My
then.
favorite, all my favorite American Pie cast members. I'm talking
The
the
MILF
guy
guy.
who
The
Steve
MILF
fucked
guy.
his mom and the guy who said MILF.
But I think like the first episode I saw was one with like a character from American Pie. in
I
it.
think I saw it right from the start. I got really suckered in by like,
Yeah.
ooh, this new show is coming.
Well, the other
Ooh.
thing when I say like why did this fail is like it was marketed very, very heavily, very specifically to an audience that should have, by all accounts, eaten up this show, and they played to what that audience would have wanted, which is fucking turn up the raunch. Like we got to fucking like.
I was wondering if they were going to pop a titty. I was
in
wondering.
Yeah.
Before
But
I
in-
saw it, once I
like,
saw it, I was like, they're not going
in
to pop a
in a
titty.
sitcom in a sitcom landscape where like I guess like 6 years ago, like the contest did like a whole episode about masturbation without mentioning the word masturbation. Friends is kind of like saying like this is like the second episode. People have fucking crabs.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
and third episode is porno. So they were hitting like the topics that
Yeah.
people who were meant to be watching the WB will be like, fuck
which
yeah.
which
Yeah.
apparently the network were very not happy about.
Yeah, so I think like when you ask like why did this show fail,
yeah.
that's like an important thing to consider, that like the network might have been like, we need to tone this down.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing funnier to me than this show's attempts at like PG-13 versions
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
of
like adult
concepts that
problems.
are way
Yeah.
like that you can't talk. And
Yeah.
It's like a
because-
plain edit of American Pie.
yeah, kind
Yeah.
of, but like
Yeah.
it's-
Or when they used to put like episodes of Friends on at like 6 p.m.
Yeah.
on Channel 10, and they would edit out like any mention of the word sex.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it was
yeah,
still,
yeah.
like, insane.
Yeah, I
like-
always preferred it when they had Simpsons at 6 p.m. That was always the better setup.
So,
Oh,
like-
Because they'd swap it in and out.
so yeah,
I guess Channel 10.
but yeah, that's the question I have. Why did this show fail? Like,
Honest,
do you think?
I mean, like, do you want?
Well, the
Yeah,
answer,
there's a few answers.
the answer, it's bad, is so boring.
Yeah.
Like, we know it's bad.
Well, also,
what if I more specifically say it's bad? It's like it's really poorly written.
I think so. The genuine counterpoint to the it's bad argument, a lot of shows are bad.
yeah.
A lot of shows are bad for 2 seasons. A lot of shows are bad for 1 season.
There are
Some-
multiple sitcoms that have been bad for
15
10 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's bad. Exactly. So it's like, it's bad is not really an argument here.
Yeah.
Yeah. People didn't watch it. That's a different argument.
Yeah. But you got to wonder like why people didn't watch it.
Yeah, that's where we get into it.
Well,
I would have seen every episode,
Yeah.
but obviously like post cancellation.
My first theory
Yes.
is that like Sean Maguire is woefully miscast.
Yeah.
It's like
Yes, and also extremely unlikable.
Yes.
yeah, like I like there's a problem with both things here because Sean Maguire seems miscast, but also Ewan seems like such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you can't help but dislike him, and you don't know where that begins with the actor or
Yeah.
the writing, and it kind of melts to create.
I don't know
I
if
think
I'm
it's a bit
supposed to
both.
like that character or not.
I think you're definitely supposed to like them.
I do
but also,
not.
I don't like Mike either. Like he's not particularly likable.
he is. I think he's not miscast. He's
He-
it's mistakenly given a fucking sitcom. It's like,
Well-
why? Who thought this guy could front a network fucking sitcom?
This is what the unaired pilot is on YouTube as well.
Can we get to that a bit later? Let's focus
Yeah.
on
Okay.
Ewan for a bit first.
Okay.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
said one word and then went straight to
Also,
Mike.
I have a problem with Ewan because his name is spelled EUAN.
Yeah, which is like a British thing, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
It
Common
just annoys
Chinese
me.
name Yuan, spelled very similarly, pronounced very similarly.
Yeah,
yeah.
but that makes more sense to me.
Yeah, fair enough.
I do agree about Ewan with Hastings in that, like, I think you're not always supposed to like him.
Yes.
He's probably
But-
supposed to be like endearing.
Yeah, but I think that there's got enough where you're like, you can't help but root for him, you know? Like, I think he's that.
Yeah. 'Cause
Like, they
it's-
make, in the first, is it the first episode or the second episode? No, it's the first episode with the parties.
Yeah.
He has sex with 3 women. Like,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to, like, come out of that being like,
Yeah.
fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to be like,
Yeah,
by gum, he did
Yeah.
it. You
That's
know?
the only thing about him I thought was
Because
cool.
it's supposed to be like American Pie fan teenagers being like, oh, what a legend.
Well, it's
Yeah.
kind of interesting. To
I aspire to be like
I've
him.
spoken about the time I had sex with 8 women in 1 week. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It was horrible. I was so tired. It was such a it was like a soulfully miserable experience.
Of course it was.
And all of those women and one non-binary person were great. There's nothing. It's not that. It was just what a dark place to put yourself in. Like,
I once did 5 in 2 weeks, and I think I messaged a group chat to say I feel like Hastings and it feels bad.
yeah, it's like it made me really be like, what am I trying to do here? Like, what am I? What is the goal? He's
But
not
when-
going to call. He's not going to call and tell me I'm his favorite son. So why am I doing this?
But while you were doing it,
Honestly, though, if you called him and told you you'd rooted 8 chicks in 7 days,
He'd be like,
he'd
"You're my
probably be
favourite."
like, that's the best thing you've ever done.
I've tried similar things. And the problem is he does reward that behavior.
that is a problem.
I do. Oh, you think? Oh god, my therapist won't call me back. Anyway, let's go.
So Ewan is also kind of like a proto Barney Stinson.
Yes,
absolutely,
very much
yeah.
so. Yes,
The elements
Like
are there.
investment banker,
Yeah,
like-
wears a suit, rich,
douche. He's just douchey.
Douchey.
The word
Yeah.
douchey is a primary like.
but like,
and like predatory.
Absolutely.
Like that first scene is why I was like, could I whisper it to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just suddenly they're making out on a bed.
Yeah.
Well, also,
I mean,
like-
that's what I like to call king shit. But like,
that scene in particular is because like I've never seen a
That's the first
yeah,
scene
and
of
I
the
have
show.
never seen a fucking mattress salesman that looks like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's some fat dude in a
Yeah,
warehouse
let
in
alone
the
one-
industrial district.
I've
I
never.
mean, they still want to fuck me, but like, you know.
I've never bought a first-hand mattress in my life.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. The one I sleep on now is
That makes sense to me.
It's like a special like medicinal mattress for my friend's disabled mother who got put in a home. And she was like, we're getting rid of her mattress. Do you want to buy it?
Is it comfortable?
No, I have a lot of back problems. I'm sure it is if you're a 120 kilo disabled woman, but
Yeah, I
it
think you
is
might
not
need
for
some-
me and my
I
wife.
think you might need something firmer.
I probably need a new one. I've been sleeping on the same bed for like over a decade.
Rose and I are definitely not the change mattress types. Jamie,
No.
I think differently of you.
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah.
I would be if I had like a girlfriend or something.
Well, I
Would
go,
be like,
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
let's get a new mattress.
Well, I think you and
together.
I have a similar thing where we both kind of do better when someone's in charge of our lives.
Oh,
a little bit.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I should be
Jamie,
in
thank you
charge
for
of
running
no
the
one's life.
podcast.
I want to, yeah. Is there a moment in these 3 episodes
Uh-huh.
that Ewan is
Likeable
endearing
at
at all?
Not really.
Not for a second.
I thought maybe
Maybe a little bit while he's trying to explain, like, him shaving himself in the bathroom.
Yes, that was
Like,
what I was gonna think.
Yeah.
Play
Because that is just kind of like, oh, comic mishap.
yeah,
It's also like
My pants are down and the vicar's here.
foibles are like kind of humanizing.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's kind of what I'm going for, but it doesn't really work.
Well, the other thing with Mike,
Write that down.
Thank you.
yeah. Well, the other thing with Mike that you kind of go for as well is like he engages in all these things, but at the end of the day, they still want him to be the hero.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So like he does those like in that Krabs episode, fucking Finch has to end up apologizing to Ewan for
Yeah.
being like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
shitty for assuming that this guy who, for all intents and purposes, is a bad dude who probably would
And
give
should have
people
had crabs
Yeah.
already. Like,
Yeah.
and would probably spread them without telling.
Well, there's
people.
there's
Oh,
nothing
yeah.
wrong with getting an STI. It's what you do with that information once you have it that's important,
Yeah.
and like how to and you behave responsibly.
Yeah, I mean, but like this is 2001.
It
We're
doesn't
not,
seem like he
yeah.
would be responsible.
yeah, absolutely.
We're not at that stage in like discussion for a sitcom. It's STIs.
Yeah, it's, if you get an STI, you are
Gross.
fucked,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of, of that era.
I mean,
maybe.
like, yeah, we can get into like that with like how badly it's aged maybe a little later. But yeah, Ewan, I thought like only maybe when he came clean about the crab thing. And also the girl in that was played by Bethany Joy Lenz, who went on to be on One Tree Hill for like 9 years. And in this, she has a British accent, and it's insanely hot because she's from like Florida, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I wondered where I recognized her from.
She's gorgeous, and like they let her be like sexy and like make her sound sexy. Whereas in One Tree Hill, she's meant to be like the homely girl who's best friends with Chad Michael Murray.
Right.
All the girls in this show are pretty fire.
Yeah, Lawrence DeMille is very attractive.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
I think another problem with Ewan is he's doing too much, right? Like he's both kind of playing like to use the Always Sunny in Philadelphia parlance. He's playing the wild card in the sitcom dynamic, but he's also playing the Barney Stinson. Like he can do anything at any time, but also he's this like calculated predatory sex and also like the fun sex guy, and also he's kind of like the goofy confidence man to Finch's like kind of lose it, like that obvious dynamic. So it's like you're putting a lot in this like onto this character who's not complicated or interesting enough to pull these these interplayer dynamics off. All those dynamics are really basic and boring, and this cunt you've given it to cannot act.
Yeah. What's he been in after this?
Well, he's been in a lot of stuff. He was quite... the biggest movie he's been in is he played the Leonidas parody in Meet the Spartans.
Oh gosh.
But like he's had like a fairly long career in TV, and like, you know, he's like done decent enough stuff. I think he had like a long recurring or main role in Once Upon a Time that had Jennifer Morrison from House in it.
Oh yeah. Hold on real quick. What year did 300 come out?
Oh,
It was like 06, 07?
I thought it was later.
No, because I was in year 11.
I would have said earlier.
Watching it in class, so maybe 06.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
I was definitely like, my dad loved it, and he
well, if you were
specializes
watching it in
ancient
class
Greece.
in year 11, it was probably like 2005 then.
Yeah, it would have been 06, 05. Anyway, did you like 300 when it came out, Rose?
I never saw it.
Yeah, right. And you didn't know you were trans then. Dudes love 300. Dudes love it, dude. That's all it is to it.
2006.
Well, I wish someone had told me.
I crushed dates. I know exactly when everything came out.
Normally, I thought your dates crushed you.
Oh, my Lord.
Hey, got him.
There's one more character I want to talk about now
Is it-
before we go to Mike.
Is it
Yeah.
Chow?
No, it's Status Quo.
Yeah, Status
Which
Quo.
one's Status Quo?
I forgot
The rapper.
The rapper.
Oh.
I forgot the
I
element.
missed the name. His name is like you're talking about the one black character in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was doing blackface. Like I was watching it with a few of the boys, the YouTube cowboys. I was watching it with some of the squad, and that
Click.
Yeah, the click, dude. Yeah, too sweet. There was the bit where in the second episode, I think it is, where he turns around and has like shaving cream to make eyebrows and a
Yeah.
beard. Something about that like color palette. We all four of us in the room. It took us like a few seconds to register that he wasn't doing blackface. Like we all made the same noise at the same time. All
He
reacted
just had
the
the
same
crab
way.
shampoo in his
he had
face.
shampoo on his face.
Yeah, I have to also be clear. There was a person of color in the room. It's fine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I forgot about the element of his character where like he is like a really sensitive guy.
Yeah, and also like not a gangster.
That's such
Yeah,
a
at all.
racist gimmick for a character.
Yeah.
That
It's
definitely
rough,
has it.
dude.
This is what makes it so interesting.
Yeah.
Because to me, like they would have thought in 2001, like we're doing
100%.
We're doing kind of this subversion in a way.
Yeah.
It's like it's super anti-racist.
Yeah.
To like
Yeah.
get a guy on who's
They're like, rappers couldn't be thoughtful.
yeah, but like their whole thing is like, yeah, it's these gangster rappers, but our guy is like an Oxford scholar, so in their mind, it's like this is woke. But now in like 2020, it's like this is like the only black character on the show
Yeah.
is like a parody of like it's like a bad parody of rappers when they like. Because they have it a couple of times in the first 3 episodes where like he'll say something and they're like one of their characters will be like, "Don't you have a song called like Rape or something like that?" And he'll be like, "Well, I never." And, like,
Of course.
it's like, isn't this called
Do you-
Big Booty
Do you,
Bitches?
do you know what that like that?
Yeah.
Because I know exactly what you mean with that. Yeah, that dynamic of like 03 woke is so racist now because
Yeah.
it's like too whatever. I saw a meme, I think it was today, even I just saw like a meme that was like it was something like to be anti-capitalist without being anti-racist is like bullshit, like anarchist whatever, and to be anti-racist without anti-capitalism is like empty identity politics, essentially, which I happen to agree with all of that. But like, it's that kind of, it's the same sort of dynamic where it's just like, oh, like you actually got to like treat them like people is actually the trick. You don't just saying they're not all thugs isn't enough. You've got to like, it's got to be a character. You actually have to make a character for a show. But if they don't do that, it's just like, oh, this is like even more racist somehow.
Yeah, because Status Quo doesn't get a ton to do in the first 3 episodes.
There's already a musician called Status Quo.
I think he definitely becomes more heavily featured.
I know, like I know that he definitely does.
It's like it's like if I was a rapper and named myself Duran Duran.
Yeah.
Like there's already a fucking musician called Status Quo.
Do that though. I think it'd be funny.
That's actually sick. Now you said that. Yeah.
But throughout
Hi, I'm Blink 182.
Yeah.
Throughout these first 3 episodes, Status Quo like alternates between like the differing minstrel acts of being an extreme gangster rapper or like the joke is he's a white person. Which is like a racist thing to be like, this black guy's acting white because he's educated.
But it's also just
the whole character
racist
is
to be like, imagine a black person who was this well spoken. Like
it's also like
he wears bathrobes.
it's even just racist in the they're all gangster rappers way, like they're all that whole like negative whatever, because it's like he's either that or he's the exact opposite of that, which means he's still that. Like it's still still relying on that trope. There's no second trope.
So it
to
does
it.
like what like I mean obviously we can't speak for him or any of the experience, but like I wonder
can.
if the actor at all was like, some of this shit you're making me do is fucking ridiculous. Or if he's like, because I bet
in 03 he's shutting up and keeping his job. I reckon.
I think
also like in 2001, I think you might find him like in interviews being like, it's actually a fun bit of subversion what we're doing, because like most people think rappers are all gangsters.
I don't think people were
anything but.
I don't think people were asking those questions in 03, dude. At least not on fucking MTV or whatever.
People are just pointing and go, it's not like that normally.
It would be interesting.
You don't sound like Snoop Dogg.
I do think for future
Sorry,
episodes,
03, 50 Cent.
Future episodes, we should maybe take a look at some of the reviews, because I think they're all mixed to negative. But it would be interesting.
Oh, what?
Yeah, but I think it would be interesting to see people, because I can imagine some of them will be like, and the only funny thing is Status Quo.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
the rapper with the heart of gold.
Well, what I read was the breakout star of the show was Chow.
Yeah.
John Cho.
I think John Cho was just always going to be a star regardless, and like John Cho's success, I imagine, has nothing to fucking do with this.
No.
Oh, no.
Harold and Kumar, I don't think he got Harold and Kumar off this. Like,
Although, like, it does, like, watching John Cho in this and things subsequent to this, it's like, give him make him the fucking lead in a sitcom.
He should be in this, because like watching these, like
John Cho should be the lead in this, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Way better.
Like, he's the most charming, he's the most endearing.
Yeah.
But like,
he's the best actor.
I just...
I would say he's the best actor of the 3.
Yeah, it probably speaks to that ability that I remembered him as being in it a lot more.
Yeah,
that's a good sign.
I thought he was just kind of... I thought he lived there. With
He might be in it more as it goes on.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
He is a bit, but
These
like...
first 3, it's very Mike and Ewan and Liz centric. And like, poor Lawrence DeMille, because Liz's character is just like, she sucks. Like,
She's also purely there just to create like problem arcs for them.
Yeah,
like she doesn't really.
And
get
like
to be
a lot
her
of,
own
and like the one bit of like character development she gets is occasionally they're like, you'd think she'd be a shrew about this, but actually she's kind of cool.
She's actually kind of not a bitch.
Like
she laughed and danced about him watching porn.
Yeah, and she doesn't mind porn either, and like stuff like that.
Man, I haven't jacked off in so long.
That was a real 03 storyline that like anybody could give a shit about watching porn, and also just having porn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to write a bit about this right now, so let's stop talking.
You mentioned the words bush porn.
I do not mention the words bush porn.
You should absolutely talk about bush porn if you're talking
I've
about
seen
porn,
20 bits about bush porn, dude.
Yeah, from who?
I've seen so many bits about bush porn, right?
I reckon
and
you
Jamie,
just-
back me up, okay?
I reckon you just hear people talk
there
about
are
it
tons
on...
of bits about porn in general.
No, that's of course, but like
I think you just hear about
the
bush
take
porn
that
on
finding
podcasts.
about finding porn in the bush is not.
Yeah,
I've seen bits about that.
Yeah, finding.
I'm not just like the bit isn't guys porn. Like
Yeah.
I have an angle. Like I have a thought. I have a perspective on these things.
Yeah, this
I've
is
got an angle. It's standing at about 90 degrees.
Come down to the Lewisham Hotel this Thursday night to check out my angle on porn.
This just happens to be like a very 2003.
Absolutely.
And like that's the whole 3 episodes are very 2003.
Oh yeah.
Like there's so much. Also, their fucking apartment is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
dude,
they kind
it
of
blew me away. That's like a $10 million apartment.
Well, they kind of set that up clumsily at the start, where they're like, "Oh, he got a big relocation fee.
I
and he
saw
works for
that.
an investment bank."
It's like that's like the fucking apartment Woody Allen would live in. Like
Yeah.
it's out of control.
It's
Like,
amazing.
It's got a fucking stairwell. Like
It's got an apartment. It's an apartment that has like amazing like Art Deco like decoration with a big like propeller,
Yeah.
and then Mike's bedroom looks like a bedroom for a 17-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got he's got a jersey hanging from the wall.
Yeah.
Not like
But it also-
framed or like laid out. It's just hanging.
It also looks tiny.
Yeah, it's so
Like he's
small.
living in fucking
Yeah.
like Ewan's
Ewan must
cupboard.
Ewan must be like that's Ewan's ensuite.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
He's converted
you
into
haven't
it.
seen my Ewan's bedroom in my house, have you?
You gave a vague tour around the room when we were trying to do a remote ep.
Oh yeah, that's right. I might have people over soon, Rose. You can check out my jerk off den. No,
I
that's
won't be venturing in that.
That's
room.
where we hang, dude. No, it's perfectly safe.
So, do we want to talk about Mike now?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
Mike's probably like a big part of the problem with this.
Huge.
I think both the lead actors are a big part of the problem with
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, like I like
Can I-
Eddie K. Thomas a lot, and like I assume you'll have more to say because you've seen the Josh Radnor version.
Yes.
but like I don't think he's built for this kind of
No.
role.
I don't
But like
think.
maybe that's.
I don't think he's a leading man.
But maybe,
No.
but like he doesn't necessarily need to be a leading man for this to work. But he just like he has the charisma of someone that should be like a scene stealer versus maybe like
Yes.
a scene carrier.
like he
Yes.
works so well as Finch.
Yeah,
Yes.
and maybe that's on us for like typecasting him a little mentally as Finch. But I think he was in a sitcom after.
He's
this that
also
ran for a
basically
while.
just playing
What was it?
adult.
Till Death?
He's just playing grown-up
Right.
Finch in this show anyway.
I
Like
think
a
it's
little
like
bit.
a little less like.
grown up Finch with the edges sanded off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, that's the whole show.
But like,
though.
because what I've found about this is like, it's very of like its time, and the storylines. They're like trying to be a bit more racy than like your average sitcom, but like, it's still the whole thing kind of has the tone of like a 70s sitcom where like there's terrible acting and like just the like really ham-fisted way.
It's a
all
cheesy,
handled.
like shitty production values, clumsily written and performed.
Mm.
What I was going to say about what's his name, John Cho? That's his name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What I was gonna say, it's like it's even he like watching him reveals problems with Finch more so, but also Ewan, where it's like when he walks into a scene, it's like, oh, he just hit his mark faster.
Yeah.
He just fills up the screen better. He just talks properly. He like knows how to act in a big, broad, heavy-handed network sitcom, whereas the other guys are like, Ewan's going too far, doing too much. He won't stop moving. It's fucking confusing. And Finch is this miserable
it's almost
little
like he's
nerd
trying to
with,
do
like-
Lee Evans.
yeah. But it's like those guys like Finch. It feels like he should. It's like you're watching like a fucking high school play filmed or something.
Yeah.
It's what. Whereas like when John Cho comes on, it's like, oh, he's like a sitcom actor. He's saying his fucking not catchphrases, but he's hitting his lines. He's fucking hitting his mark. He's big. He's presenting. It's like it fits the tone. It feels right. You know.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think, there's a lot of problems with what Eddie K. Thomas does in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's because he's also kind of saddled with a boring character.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't even started on the writing.
Yeah, I mean, the writing's interesting.
Well, can I
Maybe
talk
we
about
save that to episode. Maybe we save that to Ep 2 of. We'll just tell how you met your mother. We how ate it all.
Offset it all?
Yeah.
How I Met Your Mother, we ate it all off center.
Although, like, that being said, like, we've watched so many dog shit, horrible movies over the
Yeah.
course. There's 3 episodes. It was so easy to just, like, watch.
it
Oh,
was-
sitcoms are so easy to watch. That's
Yeah.
why they're so fucking. That's their whole thing. Like,
It did go far, like quite pleasantly quickly.
Yeah, well, like, it got to the point where, like, the 4th episode started. and
19 minutes or something.
the 4th episode started, and for a minute I didn't, like, turn it off. I was just like, I guess I'll keep watching.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, you fool. Like, this
Yeah.
is work.
Yeah.
why
I'm
not?
at work right now.
Yeah,
Levin.
yeah.
Well, like, yeah, because I wasn't enjoying it, but yeah, I got through the 3rd one. I'm like, I may as well watch the pilot just to see something to talk about. It'll be fine.
Yeah, so tell us about, like, so we've kind of said that Mike sucks. Tell us about Josh Radnor.
Okay, so it's basically to the letter.
Yep.
Like
So pretty much just a recast.
I watched the mattress store scene, which also is so funny because like the joke it opens with gay panic. That's 2001.
You're
in a
probably worried
nutshell.
that we're homosexuals.
Yeah. But then like they do the kind of like, but we're cool with it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, dude.
Yeah, but yeah, it's basically like, just scene for scene the same. Like, pretty much everybody in it is the same, except Josh Radnor is Mike. And Josh Radnor is way better for it. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Josh Radnor is just a better fit. Not a better fit.
Honestly,
he's just a better actor.
Yeah, he's a better actor. Like, but he just like...
We know he can lead a sitcom.
He made the character seem more endearing.
Josh Radnor might be my least favorite part of How I Met Your... what is the name of the...
How I Met Your Mother.
I was about to say We'll Just Tell Your Mother.
That's our podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. Although we will eventually turn into how...
You're not in How I Met Your Mother.
I'm not Neil Patrick Harris.
No.
I'm not a gay man with a son.
No.
All right.
Well, I mean, you could be.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There'd just be things you hadn't told
Yeah.
us.
What about if, like, instead, you know how, like, in 2001, it's like gay panic's the thing, but it's like the way you kind of is like you're saying you do the, but don't worry, I'm a cool guy because I'm cool with it, right?
Yeah,
What
doing
if
the
they
Seinfeld, not that there's anything wrong
Yeah,
with that.
exactly, exact same thing. What if they're like the 2020 version of that was in like the misguided attempt in a network sitcom was being like, well, I'm not trans, but I've thought about it.
I mean, we've
like
all
so baffling.
questioned our gender at
Yeah.
some point
Almost
in time.
every character's been like, I thought about it.
Yeah, but
I
it
dabble with non-binary.
I had one trans experience in college.
Well, there'd be great stuff.
Tuck my dick behind my leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my trans experience.
There'd be great.
I'd fuck me.
There'd be
That was one of my puppetry of the penis tricks, dude.
There'd be amazing.
Yeah, everyone's tried that.
There'd be amazing sitcom lines you could write with that. Like like they're going
Yeah.
through my head right now. Like,
I mean, there's
hey,
so
I'm
much of
not
it they've already
trans,
been
but I
there.
have shopped at Bed Bath and Table before. You know, like that's a perfect like laugh track sitcom.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I'm not
I
trans. I just enjoy the work of Fiona Apple.
Yeah,
You know, like-
exactly.
I'll throw a wreck out
I'm not
to
trans, but
everyone.
Eat, Pray, Love made me cry. You know?
I just...
You just do the gay panic jokes.
Yeah.
There's kind of discussion about that. I just watched that documentary on Netflix called Disclosure.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is
I've
like-
heard that's good.
It's worth watching, I think.
Yeah, I've mostly been watching... Not pro wrestling, actually. I'm too bummed out to watch pro
I've been
wrestling.
watching
at the
the
moment.
same 3 episodes of Off Center over and over again.
You know, it's like, it's Me Too week in pro wrestling this week.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Who's been Me Too?
Everyone.
Really?
Like, not big names yet. A few big names.
But I mean, that's not
like,
really...
but like, British wrestling is like probably done.
Right.
Like, everyone.
Like anyone active big in America?
Velveteen Dream recently got some
a
stuff.
person called Velveteen Dream, really?
He's doing a Prince parody, pretty much. He's awesome.
Or apparently not.
Well, yeah. In his defense,
Oh,
no.
Yeah,
No. It was a dick pic to a 17-year-old, and he's 24. You shouldn't do that. That's wrong.
Yeah.
It's very, very bad. But also, it'd be silly to say that's the same as what I read Justin Bieber did today. So, like,
What Justin Bieber did.
like fully raped. Like,
Oh.
yeah, not great topic for a hot comedy podcast, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently there's some stuff about Bieber coming out. But yeah, no, what have I been watching is what I was talking about. I've been playing a lot of video games.
Hell yeah.
Super Smash Brothers.
I've been watching the storylines during video games.
Absolutely, I have. Man, the Super Smash Brothers storyline, mind-boggling.
Is there much of a storyline?
There's like a pretty significant storyline.
Really?
I thought
Yeah.
that was just kind of a smash it up party with your friends game.
No.
Do you still fight
dude.
against the big hand?
The big hands are alluded to in the intro. I haven't played a Smash since like GameCube, so
Yeah, that was
I
where
don't
I
know.
know the big
Apparently,
hand
the
from.
Wii or Wii U version has like a really involved, even bigger storyline. This is like a sequel to that, I think. But you play as Kirby for like the Kirby's the main.
You have to?
for the first you can swap out after like 3 or 4 matches.
So you don't get to just choose your fighter to play in story mode.
You have different versions for that. There's like tower modes, which are really fun. There's a different tower mode for every character you can play as, and it's like really sick. Like it's like I did the Kirby one because I used to playing with Kirby, and so it's all the guys who've like been in other games with Kirby. So it's like, and the levels are like all the Kirby levels. Apparently, if you do like the Mario one, it's you work up the Mario ladder, like, and then you have to get really creative with fucking Cloud from Final Fantasy. They do one for him, and they like try and recreate. So they put like Roy and Marth
Now
and
we're
shit in it and
talking.
whatever. But yeah, it's like pretty sick. But yeah, it's crazy. There's they're like, how do we make a story where Samus is hanging out with Donkey Kong, but also Solid
Just getting
Snake?
coffee or something.
Yeah, that's like fan fiction.
It's like cross
ratcheted
dimension.
up.
Well, the longest fan fiction. You know you might have heard this, Jamie, but Rose, you'd be interested in this. It holds the record because it's the longest one measured, and they can only theorize it's the biggest one ever. But the longest fictional story
I've
ever
heard
made.
this.
All right.
No, when you say it, like it'll jog.
Oh, right. It's a Super Smash Brothers fan fiction.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah,
before,
it's like
actually.
it's 1,000,000 words or some shit. Like
Yeah.
it's out of control.
That's
right?
dope.
Yeah, and it's because it's like, and then Sonic came in and was fighting with Samus, but then Pikachu was there, and like,
Is there a pornographic element to this?
I haven't read any of it, but I can only assume, to be honest. I think
I
you,
can
like,
only hope.
you kind of have to, right? Like, you're gonna have to assume.
Well, otherwise it's just 1,000,000 words of fighting, and that would
Yeah.
get boring after.
It's
a
also
while.
like, how do you have 1,000,000 words and none of them are Samus, sat on Donkey Kong's
Penetrate.
face? Like, how do
Yeah.
you not put that in there?
Was there a joke in these 3 episodes that you thought was funny?
No.
Yeah, not really.
There was one in the third. I can't remember what it was.
Honestly, just the shaving cream face thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a goofy,
that's kinda
slapsticky
funny.
visual gag. That's
The-
fine.
Like the catastrophic retelling of the shaving thing is like it's okay. Like the best thing they did was like in episode 2 they already get a bit meta where they do the fake like PSA at the end.
Yeah. And they used John Cho because I
Yeah.
think they realized that he's the one who will be most charming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What's the best episode of these 3?
Um,
I thought the third.
I can't remember.
Like I thought it got better as it goes on. I thought the pilot was like really bad.
Pilots are
the
always
pilot was
bad.
absolutely dog shit.
Best pilot ever made, other than Lost.
I'd probably
Lost.
go. For,
Yeah,
it's
Lost. The
just
answer's
Lost.
Lost. I know the answer's Lost, but like,
I'd probably go for the crabs one.
Yeah, the crabs one. Yeah. Well, what about you? Best episode out of these 3? And then
I
we'll
don't know.
tackle
They
your-
all run together. I don't really.
Best pilot ever made.
Yeah,
I
but-
mean, yeah.
It's-
Veronica Mars has an excellent pilot.
West Wing Pilot's good.
Arrested Development has an excellent pilot.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, Arrested Development actually might take it for me. Arrested Development's great.
Battlestar Galactica has an excellent pilot.
Yeah.
House has an excellent pilot.
Is that the pilot though, or is that just the first episode?
It's a pilot.
It's very
South
dark.
Park.
I remember that. It's very gritty looking.
Yeah, because it's filmed by Brian the Boy Singer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we should call him that.
The South Park pilot
the
is, like,
LA
pretty
kid.
South Park pilot's pretty iconic.
Yeah, but like watching it now, I don't know what's
I
that.
still have an affection for it.
Yeah, I have an
Because
affection
fucking
for it,
loved
but I don't think it's as funny as like
There's no Simpsons
South Park
pilot, right? There's just there's the Tracy Ullman sketches, and then
the Simpsons pilot is technically Simpsons roasting on an open fire.
No, that's
So,
not the
like-
first episode ever made. That's the first one released. It's not the first one made.
Yeah, but that's what
The first
they would
full
count
length.
as a pilot. Yeah,
I don't think. I think a pilot has to be not commissioned for more for it to be a pilot. I think they commissioned a whole season, right?
Yeah,
I think they
but
commissioned it to see like the pilot equivalent would be the Tracy Ullman show.
Maybe. Either way, the first episode is like, not that good.
Oh, a lot of spin-off shows pilots are episodes within the existing series. So like Law and Order SVU's pilot is an episode of Law and Order.
well, but that gets into a different thing because that would be called a backdoor pilot.
Yeah, backdoor pilot's kind of what they call me on the weekend.
Yeah.
I was about to say pretty much
Yeah.
the same thing.
All right. But it's in character for me to say it.
I was going to accuse you.
We're all okay. There we go. All right, cool. All right, that's fine then. As long as we're all on brand, we're all equivalent joke writers. We can all get to backdoor pilot.
Lost is like
It's
an
directing it correctly that we want to control here.
Lost is an incredible.
Well, because it wasn't a
hour of
pilot,
television.
really. It was commissioned as a pilot, and they were like, "This isn't a fucking pilot. Let's pour $1 trillion into it and make a movie." Like,
Yeah.
they made a fucking movie as a pilot. It's out of
But that-
control.
I think it exists so well because the original concept is quite interesting and mysterious. And then, from what it sounds like, it just kind of gets worse and worse.
Now, Rose, are you trying to tell me that your take on this is that Lost gets worse as it goes on?
I assume it does.
I've got a-
watch past the first season.
That's the fire alarm going off because
Okay.
we got a hot take.
But aren't there a lot of people who still stand by the whole series?
Yeah, me. Lost fucking rocks.
I've stopped watching.
I
up
watched
season
the whole.
two.
I watched the whole thing like a year ago, and it has a dip in season 2 and 3, and then it gets better and better. And depending on how you feel about the last season, bad or good.
Best
but,
line, yeah.
But it's no matter how you feel about what they do with the end, which can be argued a million ways from
Ends are
Sunday,
just hard.
but it's a fucking ride, and there's action, humor, heart. It made me I cried the whole way through the last
Yeah,
episode. Of
that's
Lost.
what you want.
Yeah.
I cried the entire way through the last episode of The Good Place.
All right, so we've done best last episode. What's the best last season? Parks and Rec, pretty good.
Yeah, I like Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec is like Parks and Rec kind of like 30 Rock is kind of like a victory lap.
Yeah,
I
but
like.
30 Rocks
I know a
is
lot of
bad.
people-
No, I like 30 Rock.
I don't like 30 Rocks last season at
A
all.
lot of people don't like Parks and Rec's last season.
I quite like it.
I quite enjoyed the like Leslie and Ron storyline.
Yeah,
like,
same.
It's such a warm show.
Yeah,
So
but,
it
like,
needed
the,
a warm
The little
end.
bottle episode where they like become friends again is
Yeah,
really good.
that's great. I also like you get the nice little like. Because it's I think they knew what they'd done well, which is you're just so invested in these characters. Like it's such a little like lived in little world,
Yeah,
like
they created
great
a
little
world where
universe.
you're rooting for everybody.
Yeah, it's like so you really like I was more invested in what happens to those characters than I would be for even like other sitcoms that I like better.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely like those characters. Other than
the
Swanson, I
original-
don't always like, but
The original last episode and even season of Arrested Development, I thought was fucking great.
I think season 3 is the weakest of the first 3.
Oh, it's my favorite.
I
love
was originally gonna say season 3 of Arrested Development, but I think season 2 is better.
Season 2 is better, I think.
Said the original last season of Futurama is
Yeah?
Oh
fantastic.
yeah, that's really good.
The last season of Angel is amazing. I can't think of any long form dramas.
Last season of Studio 60.
I can't think of any long
that
form
also the
dramas
first
of the.
Yes. It's also a critically panned show that I love.
Yeah.
I can't think of any long form dramas off the top of my head.
Well,
Like-
the last season of The Wire, I think, has.
the
some-
last season of The Wire is okay.
The last season of The Wire has some of The Wire's best episodes, but it's also like roundly considered the worst season because the media storyline sucks.
And the
like,
serial killer
the
storyline
Jimmy
sucks.
stuff gets a bit over the top.
But
like-
the last episode of The Wire is fantastic.
The second last one is awesome as well.
Oh, I know. I know the answer to this. The Shield. The Shield's last season
okay.
is incredible.
I should
People
watch
love that
I should
show.
watch The Shield, yeah.
It's on Amazon Prime.
I gotta get Amazon Prime. I've got so many
I've
fucking
got it,
streaming
and I've
services
I
now.
definitely forgot to cancel it before the month was over.
If only I could unsubscribe from the WWE network.
Do you know what excuse me, you know what I watched on there the other day was like Greg Daniels' new show, which is like an Amazon original.
What's
It's
it
like
called?
Oh, Upload.
Upload.
Yeah, I just watched
What's
the
it
pilot.
about?
It's
I like
good.
Greg Daniels. What's it about?
It's like you can either die or you can be like uploaded to heaven.
Yeah,
or
you
whatever.
Okay.
upload it to like an afterlife.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's like
And it's got like a little mystery element to it as well.
there's like
All
a
right.
mystery
You sure
element,
this
there's a
isn't the
love
good
story.
place?
It's kind of like The Good Place, except that it's more of like a satire of like corporations and capitalism.
Yeah.
and
Ooh.
like
The-
morality.
Like the lead girl's like her dad has vape lung. and he's dying from it.
That's
Like,
great. Yeah, well, speaking of,
But like it ends on a real fucking cliffhanger. I was like,
I've only watched
real
the first
pissed.
episode.
I was real pissed off. I'm like, what happens?
how did yours? I just speaking of anti-capitalist shit. How did your staunch libertarian? How do you say the word? It's like French. It means like free for all capitalism, laissez-faire.
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 Yeah, that your staunch libertarian beliefs. How did that mesh playing Outer Worlds? You love capitalism.
Yeah, I do love capitalism. I think it's the only perfect.
It's perfect,
It's
actually.
the only perfect construct society has.
Survival of the fittest, dude.
Yeah. Well, if you've seen another one that works
It's the
better,
jungle.
fucking show me.
It's a jungle out there,
It's
baby.
like we've seen other ones and they suck.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, Outer Worlds is very anti-corporation.
It's pretty staunchly anti, like, hypercat. Like, it's...
Yeah, well, the whole thing is like it's like an alternate history of McKinley, who like invented like hyper-capitalism,
Yeah,
survived in like corporation. Yeah, but you don't. You can't side with the corporations in that game.
Yeah, but the message, the game, that they're the bad guys. Even if you play, you're playing as a bad guy if you side with the corporation.
I did not side with the corporations.
Neither did I. No. I never. I always play as a good guy. We've spoken about this.
But like they
That's why I
don't-
play Kirby in
like when
Smash
you
Brothers.
but when you're good in that game, it doesn't necessarily go like at the end of this, capitalism's
gonna
gone.
ignore it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. You don't have a resounding victory. It's because capitalism never sleeps, dude.
I kind of like the idea that it's like, yeah, we did something, but like life still goes on.
Yeah, I like that element. What's your favorite
Should I go
company?
out for a dart?
Nah, what's your favorite company, Rose?
Favorite company?
Yeah, like giant, like mega multinational $1 billion company.
Rio Tinto.
Not KFC.
No, actually, they're the ones that just fucking blew that
Yeah, I think so.
thing
Yeah,
up, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yuck. Why did I accidentally choose that as a joke answer?
yeah. It should have said KFC.
What was it? BP. Oh, it was one of the shit ones.
No, it was Rio Tinto.
Right. Yeah.
BP did a big oil spill
KFC,
recently.
obviously.
Yeah, KFC. I think so.
But
KFC
it's still
stands for killing, and I can't say the next two letters.
I know what they were.
You know which C word I was gonna.
there are those worrying like rumors that I've never seemed to be able to confirm that like Colonel Sanders was in the KKK, which like pretty strong possibility he could have been. He was like an army general in Kentucky.
I highly doubt it.
I don't.
Colonel.
He also wasn't an army general, was he? Or was he a retired army general?
Maybe like a retired colonel or something.
Yeah, I think maybe he wasn't an actual colonel.
Yeah, I thought he was like self.
I thought he was just like a chicken farmer,
self-anointed.
like a
It's
chicken.
just that guy calling himself Sarge.
Like I think he like ran a restaurant or something. Like
I would say that it's harder to believe because like
yeah, I don't.
from everything I've heard, like KKK numbers are always far fewer than you'd think based on like how they're proliferated in media.
I did a big thing on them in Year 12 extension history. I briefly did my historiography on them before I changed it to be about Holocaust deniers. And it's like there's so few members of the KKK, but it's such a popular idea in like the American psyche on both sides. Like they hate it or they,
It's because of the funny outfits.
Yeah, it's like
I think it's the outfits and it's also like the pretty extreme nature of like their hatred.
So you know how it's like
Yeah, but there are hatred groups everywhere. Hatred group, but like this is bigger, like
I have the
visual
answer.
iconography.
So
yeah,
you just
exactly.
think that they had good branding.
Well, it's the visual
Essentially, yes.
You're right. It's visual iconography plus like how the Nazis were so bad that it kind of redeems everything else.
They were very naughty.
Yeah, but like people do people use people now use Nazis as an image of evil. So if you're not as bad as the Nazis, how bad could you really be? That's like a common thing.
Well,
KKK
that's
is
a huge problem that everyone makes. Is like as soon as you do something bad, people find a way to compare you to Hitler.
Yeah.
Like, this is so far away from that.
Also,
That's
like,
true.
Also, Nazis strong visual iconography.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like-
So
boss,
the
baby.
Klan are so openly evil that they're held up as like an example of evil, so that like it works its way into the psyche and shit.
Yeah.
Black Klansman.
No, I'm racist.
No.
I quite enjoyed it.
Can I tell you about a meme I saw that's pretty funny?
Yeah.
I like that. I think we should do meme corner on this podcast.
Oh,
Okay.
please,
This is my favorite.
There's nothing worse than explaining a meme.
This is one of my favorite
I
memes.
want to see where this goes.
I think we should explain memes more on the pod.
Okay.
No, this is just like an actual meme I saw that I thought was funny.
Go on.
You guys have seen Get Out?
Yeah.
You know the bit.
I saw it 4 times.
So it was Bradley Whitford.
I'm on the DVD and Blu-ray.
So this
I read
was-
the script.
This was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Bradley Whitford standing next to the lead actor, whose name I can't remember, in the front
Daniel
yard.
something.
And the caption
Cover
was,
it up.
I would have posted the black square 3 times if I could have.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
saw
That came out like immediately.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I think that's such a funny meme.
Yeah, it's quite
That's like
good.
my favorite line of the whole movie, I think.
Did you see the other one that Jordan Peele did? Us?
No, I haven't. I want to. I did enjoy
That one looks more scary.
Get Out.
Yeah, it is. I would say, but like it's still like,
Get Out was scarier than I thought it would be.
I didn't.
It wasn't too scary, but I expected it to be barely a horror movie. It's like a horror movie.
Have you seen Ready or Not?
scary.
That shit fucking slaps.
No.
It's like another horror movie, like that, like people have kind of lumped in with like Get Out as like the new
kind of
like
like
a woke
satire.
horror movie.
Well, it's about like a rich family, and like this woman gets like is gonna marry this guy, but like they come from like some fucking weird board game legacy,
Oh, yeah.
and like they like essentially
I
like
have
pray to
seen that.
Satan, and they like they make her play a game, and they all hunt her around the house. It's got Seth Cohen in it.
It's like a weird like family ritual that they make her do and
Oh, I've
shit.
heard
Yeah,
of that.
Yeah.
and it, like the main woman is Australian, I think.
I've
actually.
I've actually heard of that.
It's
and-
actually
Is it
your-
one of those really grim ones though, where like everyone dies?
I mean, no spoilers.
Yeah, it depends if you want me to spoil it for you or not.
I mean, I'm probably not going to watch it.
I mean, yes. and-
Again, it's not just 3 of us in a room.
Yeah.
Well, we're saying spoilers.
Yeah, well, now we've.
Well, just say
given it-
spoiler alert before you.
Spoiler alert. The main girl doesn't die.
Right.
She makes it out.
But apparently, the original version of Get Out was supposed to be an unhappy ending.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
he
a
was
few
gonna make it
versions
out,
of the
but it
ending
just,
that I
like,
read. Yeah,
There was one where he
Test
gets
well
put in
or something.
prison.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, because
right.
at the end it kind of looks like it's going that way, and then there's like a kind of just a saving moment right
and,
at the
and,
end.
and to drag
Yeah.
it back to off center with the status quo thing.
Oh, yeah.
There is a part where him and that model conspire to get him arrested by the police so he looks cool.
Oh,
Which is like
He's
it's
so
just
worried
like
about his street cred.
obviously you can't tell like 3 Jewish guys in 2002 like, hey man, in 18 years this is gonna look so weird.
Yeah.
Like you kind of wish you could.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Also, just another side note is like, you'd never expect it to be good, but like the rap he does is phenomenally bad.
Yeah.
Like, worse than you'd think it could
Because
be.
it was probably written by the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch the next 3 episodes. Like, I got a sneaking suspicion that it does get a little better.
They would have to.
It probably
to
gets a
get
little
commissioned for
better.
a second season at all.
Yeah, but then we
Cut
go
down
back.
in its prime.
But then we also go back to that argument where, like, there are so many bad shows that got released for years and years.
Have you
and
seen
years.
Sports Night?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hate it. So I love Sorkin. Like that show went for 3 fucking seasons, and it's not good.
There's a lot of stuff that's not
But
good.
Sports
that
Night
has
had-
gone
He's
on for
made
a bit.
like look. Someone
The
challenged.
newsroom is terrible.
Someone challenged me
Newsroom
this
is
on the other day.
terrible.
He has like 2 things I can actually point to as good.
Yeah.
His movies are, like, at this point, I would say, are better than his TV shows.
I agree.
Like,
But
Charlie
the
Wilson's
other thing
War
is
is a
like,
perfect little
man,
satire.
Remove
What
David
else are the
Fincher.
movies?
Social Network's the big one.
Molly,
Network,
Molly's
yeah.
Game is, like, quite fun.
Few Good Men. I really love. So I really
Few
love.
Good Men?
He wrote it. It was his first play that it was a play initially.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew that. I just didn't know it
Yeah.
was him.
Yeah, it's him. So Social Network is great, but you take David Fincher and Trent Reznor out of the equation. That script is
Oh, it
kind
would-
of bullshit.
It would change
Like,
a lot, yeah.
that script is like not great. Like it's kind of like it's like just the dialogue is like too much for what it is.
Yeah, Fincher, I think, is really good with...
I think season
Trent
1 of Newsroom's
Reznor.
good. I don't give a fuck. Sue me, pod listeners. I think season 1
I
of
think
Newsroom's good.
season 2 of Sports Night is kind of good.
It's like there's moments of
once
it being
once
good.
Sports Night ditches the laugh track and becomes
It gets
an Aaron,
much better.
and it becomes an Aaron Sorkin
the
show.
opposite of MASH.
Yeah.
Yes.
Once they ditched the laugh track, it got all morose and
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
It just gets more Sorkin-y.
But I think the point of Sports Night is like it's better when it's kind of morose.
Yeah, well, in the first season, it's like a sitcom,
Yeah.
and it's Sorkin cannot write sitcoms.
Well, I feel like this has been pointed out before as well, but like MASH is really weird because like the whole setting of it is
Yeah.
so grim.
Yeah, MASH
But then it's
rules.
just like, yeah, let's prank another guy.
I watched a couple seasons of MASH a few years ago. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
it's a weird show.
Yeah.
Hollips could though, like she could get it.
Totally.
She could though actually get it.
Should we finish up? It's almost 8.
Yeah, let's do it.
Power bomb, maybe. Maybe
Who
not though.
knows? Who knows at some point?
Nah, it'll happen.
It'll come back.
Don't
We
worry.
just don't
I had a
have-
meeting with a guy. We're going.
We just don't
worry.
have a date yet.
Yeah, maybe soon. Alrighty. I've got stuff to plug.
Go for it.
I will be doing Sneaky Possum on the 13th July at what's the name of the bar?
Sneaky.
Oh,
Possum.
it's Sneaky
It's
Possum.
called- the comedy night is called Cheeky Possum.
Yeah, but Sneaky Possum 13th of July in Chippendale. I'll be doing
On
stand-up
Abercrombie
comedy there.
Street.
I will also be at Magic Mike in the Potts Point Hotel on the 22nd of July, and I will also be at that's a public holiday. Look, I can't remember what the date I booked Riot House, but I'm doing Riot House at the Iron Duke in what's the suburb? Waterloo at some point.
I like that pub.
I like that pub.
It's a great one of the best beer gardens in Sydney.
Yeah.
Well, underrated.
The pub and the
is
beer
very
garden are excellent.
Yeah. There is also
Yep.
a comedy night there.
Yeah. That is
Great
that's a thing
pub.
That happens at that.
It's a lovely pub. And the people that work there are good too.
Yeah, the people who work there are sick. They've always been real cool to me.
Real cool.
There's also comedy there.
I'm going to be on Must Watch with George and Alan next
Fuck yeah, dude.
next week.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
And I'm doing Sneaky Possum probably 2 weeks ago from this episode.
Yeah.
And Magic Mike at some point in July.
Yeah.
Tune in to Instagram, Rosellis Piper. I think
Maybe we should
maybe a couple of days after this comes out, there'll probably be a lot of photos of my butt on there.
Was,
going
Mute.
to a party
Mute.
thing that I've
Mute.
got a pretty
It's me muting your account.
spectacular dual costume with Beck Charlwood playing.
Nice, dude.
a jewel, like you're going as the vape.
No, we're kind of just like dressing the same.
Oh, right.
Oh, Jewel with a D.
Yes.
Come check. I'll be.
Yeah, I'm going as a vape,
Yeah.
but I've still got my butt out.
I'm gonna be
'Cause it's,
posting.
That's the liquid
It's
part.
fart flavored.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be up posting bouldering videos to my Instagram again soon. If you guys want to check that out.
Maybe we should make
mute.
some. Maybe we should make.
Muting my Instagram is like I do not want to see him climb.
Maybe we should make some off-center memes,
Maybe I could make some off-center memes. I would love to actually. That's a great idea.
and then we can describe them on the next episode and
Yes.
say, "Oh, this
And
is why.
describe a meme
This is
from
why
them.
they're funny."
yeah.
Yeah,
I
cool.
saw this and it made me laugh.
Yeah. And also I've actually been doing pretty good on Twitter lately. It's like weirdly I'm in a bit of a hot streak.
That's
so maybe
cool
it's
that
a
you
good
think
time.
that.
I'm getting over 15, over 20 likes on the reg at the moment. I'm not doing so bad.
Copped nearly 300 the other day.
Shut up.
to the next step.
It's only because you.
To the next step. I know what you're about
Only
to
because
say.
you. Only how you won't get those likes before. To the next 3 apps.
Yeah.